I'm Stuart Johnson. What a wonderful day here in Pasadena for teens as well as literature. What am I talking about? Well, to tell us more, here is the Director of Parks and Recreation, Mercy Santoro.
I'm glad that we were able to have this opportunity with the California Poet Laureate, who's here today to inspire our young people through the work that he has done through literature and art, and open the minds of our youth that attend the Teen Center of the possibility of creating a unified art piece around social justice work. We're created by teens with the voice of teens to get out to the larger community at our upcoming Peace March.
How did Pasadena get so lucky to have Juan Felipe Herrera? He was appointed by Governor Jerry Brown. This is marvelous.
This is, in fact, but what's marvelous for Pasadena is that we have such incredible leadership, not only here among the Human Services and Recreation staff who've connected in with attracting this high quality artist, but also through Roberta Martinez and the Latino Heritage community, who's also helped sponsor and create this opportunity for the young people to work with our California Poet Laureate. So today, our teens here in Pasadena will in fact become laureates themselves.
Will there be an opportunity for some of the teens to do some writing?
There will. Today's opportunity is for young people to explore creative writing and artistic endeavors that they previously engaged in already in preparation for their experience with our Poet Laureate. And as a result of coming together to create a unified idea of social justice work for teens, they'll be able to combine their vision, thoughts, and ideas and share them with the larger community.
Well, one of Pasadena's favorite daughters, as well as abuela or nana, from Latino Heritage, Roberta Martinez. Roberta, you've written a book, Latinos in Pasadena, as well as you're involved in this project today.
Latino Heritage actually is involved in this. We're one of the partners with Latino Art Network of California that got the grant that was able to bring Juan Felipe Herrera to Pasadena.
When you stop and think about this wonderful activity and being an author, what's the significance for our young people?
Oh, it opens up the possibilities for them as to how they might view themselves. They might be able to see themselves as poets in the future, or authors, or people that are working in a library. It brings the possibilities to them that they might never have thought about before.
California Poet Laureate Juan Felipe Herrera is visiting teens here in Pasadena and part of several appearances and events for National Poetry Month. It's hosted and organized by the Latino Arts Network and Latino Heritage. Now, over the past 40 years, Juan has published 29 books and recently appointed by Governor Jerry Brown. Juan, tell me, what and how do you become California Poet Laureate? What does that all mean?
Well, I wish I really knew the answer, but I think after a while, it's because of my experience, my family's experience, and the experience of my community and the communities that I lived in, which have been kind of a harsh experience. And I grew up during the civil rights, became a poet during the civil rights movement, late 60s, mid 60s, late 60s, early 70s. So that was a time to get up on top of a wood pine box and really speak out loud with our great models of Martin Luther King, Cesar Chavez, Malcolm X, Dolores Huerta, big speakers, amazing speakers. And I stood at the margins, and I was saying to myself, I want to get up there somehow. I don't know how to do it. But most of all, I want to talk about all these things that have happened, that I want things to change. I want things to change for me and for my family and for everyone. That was part of my motivation. I had all this anger, I had a lot of shame, I had a lot of pain, and I also had a lot of joy and a lot of play and a lot of art in me, and they were all just swimming around, crashing into each other, all these feelings. And poetry gave me a focus, a channel, and I began to enjoy it, and I began to break through the ice and these hindrances that I had tangled around me. And little by little, there I was in those stages with friends, with jazz musicians, with first-time poets like myself that were screaming because we trembled so much, so we had to scream. And after a while, we got comfortable. And then we traveled. It wasn't just about standing up. It was about traveling, farm worker camps, jails, juvenile halls. And we began to tell the stories in places where the stories needed to be heard. And it was a great reward for everybody, for the people and for ourselves. So we grew together. as poetry and storytellers and bringing about the voices of the heart. That was it. It's hard to put into a few words.
You're going to be working with Pasadena Teens Voices and doing some workshops. What do you think will happen in those workshops?
People come to these events because they want to express themselves. We all want to express ourselves, and we all want to hear our voices. So let's begin with the most important thing. The most important thing is your voice. And my message is, you have a beautiful voice. You have a beautiful voice. That's my one message. And when we tell our story and we speak up, we are taking a step, not only forward, but a step in being who we really are. We're seeing where we're coming from. And others are listening, and they're learning, and they're connecting with us. So let's give everybody a big mano for being here at Pintoresca, writing poetry, speaking up, and sharing your story. I want to present a poet to you. We have Dr. Big round.
What's up, y'all? My name's Jonathan, and I got a poem called Listen. Y'all could close your eyes and bow your heads, you know? For real though.
All right, let's do it.
It's from the heart, y'all. Listen to the sound in my head. The song in my heart plays a sound with the perfect melody that gives me the greatest mood known to this young man. Just because I'm young doesn't mean underrate me. Yeah, I lack on intelligence and knowledge, but I'm far from old and wise, and I'm nowhere near young and done. If you took time to listen to my story, you'll find out my pain is glory. My blood is thicker than water, and my music is deeper than that 6-foot grave that awaits you when the Almighty Lord gives us our due date, and our loved ones bury us during our homegoing celebration. Listen to the great melody God beat in my brain that I looked past until I understood that this was a growing seed, that someone needs to wake up and hear a song, a story, a video, a picture, or anything that has to do with your favorite person or celebrity. But we're all human at the end of the day. I want someone to be a fan, take my side, and understand the fact that all I want is for someone to listen.
I'm really happy that you're here, and I'm really happy to be here with you because you're young, because you're real, because you have a lot to offer, and because you're full of reality. You're full of reality. You don't have all that extra junk in your head. You're full of reality. Yeah. You're ready to do what Malisha did and what she is doing, what you are doing here. And I'm really inspired just by meeting you. I'm really inspired. You don't have to do anything I say. You don't have to do anything special. You don't have to do anything special. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you. Another big hand for you guys. Okay, let's do another applause. Thank you.
This one is called Thinking About You. Alright. I've been thinking about you, and the day we met, I felt like we had a complicated relationship. Baby girl, you plus me equals us. And your dad used to say anything that would try to break us up. But we can go nowhere but up. All we have is love. I love you, you love me. Tell me what the heck is stopping us. You treated me good, when everybody else treated me bad. We used to have fun and talk on the phone and laugh. My days were always bright. You the one that made them brighter. I was Rick James, your Tina Marie. Call it fiery desire. You used to giggle when I wrapped my arms around your waist. You're the only girl in the world that put a smile on my face. Right now my heart is broken inside. I feel like crying. You're the one that broke us up. There was no cheating or lying. This situation has really got me going crazy. And to this day, I've been thinking about you daily.
That was good. Another big motto for our next poet.
Loneliness. The moment I step in, I look around, I feel pain. Slowly I breathe in, the loneliness I feel to know my time is almost up. They leave me here to age alone. I look around and there are people just like me. They probably feel the same way. The smile that fakes my pain inside, every harsh step. As I lay down on my bed, I stare at the ceiling. The days when I was young are gone. The sound of the mirror tracking every one of my heartbeats. The nurse that walks in trying to comfort me. But yet I still feel alone. The tear that rolls down my cheek, I'm burning inside. They left me here and now not much to do. Should I just give up? I slowly blink with not much to say. The gray room I was placed in was so cold, so harsh. The smell of death lingers around me. Oh, how it was a foul scent, and yet I'm still here.
So something just went wrong. She said to grab the bomb, and she took a couple rips, and she had too many sips. The temptation finally got to her. The whole thing was a blur. She didn't care about class, and she didn't realize she was walking on glass. You damaged her life for the worse. She can never break this curse. Keep on digging the hole she needs to climb out. She can stop any time, without a doubt. Or so she says. If she doesn't, her life will decay. Finally done with school. Never picked up the tools. She can never be anything. Others live to be kings and queens and kings. She's stuck at the wall, no one else to call. Doomed to die by her own actions, never to know another's affection. Longing for a chance to go back, a chance to get her life on track. Life offers few second chances. She wouldn't accept it without a second glance. She's had enough, but life tested her bluff. She was given the same temptation, but she avoided the sensation and instead found her salvation. She found a way to clean herself up. Her life no longer could fit in a cup. Trying to live a life of success, no longer needing to stress about where to sleep at night, no longer to stay awake with fright. She won't drop the ball because she knows she's known a life trapped inside a wall, unable to be free. Finally learned who she could be. You want to know who this woman is? She is any random citizen. She is the underdog who found a way through the fog. She is any one of us. She beats life game of chess. See yourself in her rising against the odds, touching the faces of gods. A faceless person with so much power, admittedly, it's pretty bizarre. Did you ever know a faceless person can make you think to push your life to the brink? You might not get a second chance, so choose the right path, as not to feel life's wrath.
That's amazing. These are beautiful poems. These are beautiful poems. You have beautiful poems about very difficult things to write about. Very difficult things to write about. It's hard to write about our history. It's hard to write about our identity. It's hard to write about our family. It's hard to write about death and wrath and the right path. It's hard to write about miracles and breath. It's hard to write about our relationships and how they broke into pieces and how we won them back. It's very difficult. And that's why I felt when I walked in that you were very real and very inspirational. And when you read your poems, we can all see, we can all feel the beauty of your life. The beauty of your life. And by that, the beauty of your life means the life you are and have without any lies, just where you're coming from. And that's being human beings. And when we write, If we write about something very painful, once we write about it, it changes. Something very painful, we write about it. But when we write about it and we read it, it changes. It's not the same anymore. That painful moment back home, we're out in the street or with our loved one, or our former loved one. When we write about it, it changes. Even though when we write about it, it sounds very painful. But when we write about it and read it, it turns into art. And people listen and they go, oh yes, I feel that too. Or they just open up. No longer do we want to hide ourselves. We feel peace. We feel something very beautiful. Or we feel connected, period. We just feel like we're in a real place with a real person in front of us. And we don't know how to say it, but it's happening. And that's because you wrote about a difficult moment. And you turned it into something beautiful, into art, into poetry. Without, getting all fancy about it. You just say what you wanted to say. Estamos conectándonos cuando decimos nuestras experiencias y nuestras historias. Es difícil. It's not easy. But you guys did it already, you see? It took me many years to do it. So let's give everybody a big mano for being here at Pintoresca, writing poetry, speaking up, and sharing your stories.
When you were talking to these young people today,
Yes.
You said young people speak up. Can you elaborate on when you say speak up? What does that mean, and what does that mean for you to them?
Well, it means a lot to me because to me they represent a lot of new ideas, new intelligence, a new way of looking at things, a new experience of doing things in society, a new society, the new society, exactly, literally, that's who they are. We don't see them like that in the media or in general or in the schools perhaps. Here and there we do. Yet that's why I want to talk to them, because I actually want to listen to them and hear them, because I know I can take back new ideas, new formulas on how to live a life in a new society. And I also want them to hear themselves speak out loud and hear their voices bounce across the room. And I want them to see everybody, just listening to them and really tuned into them, almost as if they're going to cry or laugh or really be themselves. That's what happened here tonight. People were listening and they were in awe of their peers reading poems, because their peers were reading poems that they really were feeling. And that's what I want to witness. And that's the gift I get to take home when I come to the communities and listen to young people. I get to take home this beautiful gift of young people expressing themselves and speaking out, and the magic that takes place when that happens. Truth, sincerity, tender voices. Tenderness, sincerity, and truth. Now that's worth beyond a figure I can quote. That's precious. And so that's what I'm taking home. And that's what they're taking home. And it all happened right here at La Pintoresca. And they did it. And I was part of it. And I was so happy to be part of it. And I'm going to tell people about it when I go to different towns and centers in California. And they're going to feel it. So I'm going to carry it with me and give it away.
In your lifetime, as you kind of look back at your life, did you ever think that someone would say Juan Felipe Herrera is the California Poet Laureate?
No, never. I didn't even expect to get called to be in front of the class. Yeah, but in third grade, it happened. And Mrs. Lucille Sampson called me. I had been the silent boy way back in the classroom. And she goes, John, I want you to come up to the front of the class. And my eyes opened wide. I had never been called up like that. She said, I want you to sing a song for everybody. Oh, no, I said. But she said it in such a good way. And we had been singing gospel in the class with this big old phonograph in 1956 or 7. I said, okay, Miss Sampson, okay. I didn't know what to say, so I walked up. And I turned around and faced the classroom. And I sang a wobbly Three Blind Mice song. And then she said, at the end of the Three Blind Mice song, she goes, you have a beautiful voice. And that was like the cosmic sledgehammer that that was the guide for me for the rest of my life. To deal with my voice, to consider my voice beautiful, and then to turn around like she turned around to me and tell others what I told today. I said, you have a beautiful voice. And that was because Mrs. Sampson guided me and set me on that path.
Well, Mr. Herrera's visit is also supported by Pasadena City College, the Pasadena Arts and Culture Commission, the City of Pasadena Cultural Affairs Division, and the California Arts Council. If you'd like more information, go online to www.cityofpasadena.net. I'm Stuart Johnson.